country. For now, let's give you the analysis of the program this afternoon. And this afternoon, lack of health workers to operate the health center at Bomingo community in the Angloga district of the Volta region is hampering essential healthcare delivery in the area. I will bring you some details of that one as we get into the stories. Also, President John Dramani Mahama is set to swear in newly appointed deputy ministers today at the Jubilee House, marking their official assumption of duties in support of respective substantive ministers that have been appointed already and also sworn in. Also, minority MPs have raised concerns over the discrepancies in the finance minister's budget presentation, alleging that the minister's statement did not align with the actual document. Also, we will mention, with no mention of the funding of sanitation sector as well. We'll get to the experts' opinion on these matters that are being raised by the minority. All right, so these are some of the stories coming up shortly.
Ya pomudi ya gobi Ghana fueni aje efise ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me de gumi jollof mu ni mi sti wa hoduma e ma ne dance
Stanley the barbecue the go on
sankofa natural spices and one you use 100% natural said the happen
Adofo mamu ye huge mistake sankofa natural spices the
FDA ji ejodi nkratu yatu
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit's Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits. Happy smile.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and Aerocop brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafuajinkwa and the Aerocop with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste. And these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and Aerocop organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Paying for your Showmax is easy. Just choose your preferred payment method from these easy and convenient options: MTN Momo, Visa or MasterCard, Showmax vouchers at DSTV or GoTV sales agents, or use a promo code. Enter your payment details and hit submit. Showmax. Pay easy, stream easy.
All right, apologies for the brief break in transmission. Now let's go back to the first story where the Member of Parliament for Walawali constituency, Dr. Tia Mahama, has expressed concerns over the discrepancies in the Finance Minister's budget presentation, alleging that the Minister's statement did not align with the actual document. According to Dr. Mahama, the Minister's presentation stated that the total projected revenue of 17.2% of GDP, whereas the document presented showed a figure of 16.1%.
Left power at a time when you couldn't feed secondary school students, even though free SHS was your flagship program and so on. Is this the buoyant economy? And then we are complaining that government has imposed taxes on some businesses, oil companies and mining companies and so on. Shouldn't government impose taxes on them? Shouldn't? So if government does not impose taxes on them, what should they do? You should not increase the taxes on them. You should cancel e-levy as you promised to do. Shift the burden. And then there's this thing about e-levy that the rich pay more and so on. Funny. My brother, when you collect your salary, before the salary comes into your hands, the salary is taxed. You pay income tax on your salary.
People that the total projected revenue was 223.9.8 billion,
yes,
representing about 17.2% of GDP.
Okay.
In their document, in this particular document they presented to us, their total projection of revenue was 16.1% of GDP, and it is 224.9 billion. That's one.
So clearly there's some discrepancies.
Okay. Aside these discrepancies, the finance minister wanted to create a sense that we're in debt distress situation and that we have incurred so much debt. What is the measure of that? You can't say that on vacuum. Either use absolute numbers of debt or you index it to the size of the economy. But he was running away from that until the Ghana Statistical Service came out only the day before, to mention the size of the economy. Virtually, he was forced then to say that, look, our economy has grew by the level of economy is now 1.2 trillion, which effectively means that when we index our debt to our GDP to GDP is now 61.8%. What is the debt sustainability threshold? You are talking about something 60%, but the IMF program even puts it at 55%.
By 2028.
By 2028. Yes. And then we are already at 61.8% from the debt of, we're talking about 105% to GDP.
Yeah.
At a point 80%, at a point 60%. So if you are talking about the debt situation, then you need to appreciate the fact that, look, you cannot make this argument on the debt because the debt situation is sustainable, or it's not yet sustainable, 155, but it is on.
Good morning, Ghana. Let's go on to other stories where the African Union Commission and Association of African Election Authorities are tackling the alarming rise of rejected ballots in African elections, which have become a significant force, surpassing established parties and candidates. Now, at the 9th Annual Continental Forum of Electoral Management Bodies, former Chief Justice Sophia Kufu urged the collaborative effort to combat this issue, citing the staggering 239,109 rejected ballots in 2024 elections.
Of processes that eventually also impact on the security and stability of our nations. And so every citizen of any democratic nation should not only have the right and the means and the expectation to vote, but should also be assured that their vote will be valid and it will be accepted. According to International Ideas Global Database for Elections, Since the year 2000, an estimated average of 4.3% of votes in national elections were considered invalid. And though the general prevalence of rejected ballots in African elections is close to the global average, with the exception of a few extreme cases, it is unfortunately steadily on the rise, and this is a matter of concern to everyone here, and to me as a consumer of what you do. If we as democratic nations truly hold to the principle that every vote counts, we must work not only to tackle this growing problem, but also towards the achievement of the ideal, which is a situation where 0% of votes cast in any and every African election becomes valid, and there will be becomes invalid or becomes rejected because of one reason or the other. It may seem a daunting and impossible goal, but I believe that the efforts made in meeting it will ultimately fortify the integrity of our electoral processes and our democracies as a whole. The problem of invalid or rejected ballots is a complex one, as previous speakers have in various ways demonstrated, and it has multiple causal factors, which include poor voter literacy, the design and structure of voting systems, inadequate knowledge of voting procedures, political biases of election officers, and protest voting. In some groups they call it in Ghana yesemu, which means we are ruining it. And all this is important, and they are just some of the factors that lead to the incidence of rejected ballots. And as has been demonstrated by previous speakers, rejected ballots affect the credibility of the outcome of elections. Over the years, electoral management bodies around the world have attempted to address the issue from different angles with varying success. There is a small but intriguing case in the Latin American country of Colombia, where a scientific study in the city of Bogota set out to demonstrate how important ballot design is to the functionality of the electoral process. The study's focus was on the tendency for complex steps in the ballot.
Ghana's Electoral Committee, the chairperson, Madam Jean Mensah, has also announced that the country will explore the adoption of electronic voting once research confirms the necessity. This development comes as the EC seeks to enhance the integrity and efficiency of Ghana's electoral process.
We will be discussing. It's too early to say whether or not we'll be adopting it, but of course with technology evolving, we also have to avert our minds to the trends in elections if we want to minimize and reduce the incidence of rejected ballots. And so these are things that as a commission we are also discussing. But we believe that there's a lot of insights and experiences that will be shared during this 2-day forum. And I'm sure that we'll take a lot of key nuggets from it for our own decision making.
Some two quick suggestions from justice. She's calling for a redesign of our ballot papers to make them user friendly and to help cut down the numbers a bit more. We just spoke to the DRC commissioner as well, telling us about how they deploy. How near is Ghana to electronic voting? What will make out of the redesign of the ballot papers?
I think that the Electoral Commission of Ghana in 2020, we redesigned our ballot papers. That has already been done. We noticed that the spacing between the candidates, when you look at the boxes, it was quite narrow, and the result was that you find that a thumbprint could go into the next box. So if you compare our ballot boxes prior to 2020, our ballot papers prior to 2020, you notice that in between each of the candidates you find a thick black marking, so that even if your hand spills over to the next box, is caught within that thick black marking. And we believe that this redesigning has also contributed to minimizing the high incidence of rejected ballots. As I mentioned, and I believe in 2020 the rejected ballots constituted 2.33%. In 2024 we managed to reduce it a little to 2.08%. Of course, that also, as I mentioned, we had done an audit after 2020. We did a nationwide audit to examine the factors for the high incidence of rejected ballots, and we noticed that yes, one was based on voter illiteracy. People were not very conversant with how to vote. Secondly, we also had voters who would deliberately spoil their ballots, because and you notice that particularly in 2024, I think in the Boku constituency we noticed that for the parliamentary we had over 6,000 rejected ballots, but for presidential it was 480. And so even then, even in 2024, we called our officers. We didn't have access to the ballots, but we called our officers, and what we learned was that it was, because there was some war, some conflict going on there, the residents were not satisfied with the candidates because they were coming from a particular tribe. And so you notice that, they picked the ballots all right, but they did not vote. And of course, that constitutes rejected ballots. But I go back to our audit of the 2020, and we noticed it was high illiteracy, and there was also deliberate, intention of the voter to spoil the ballot. Then we also noticed that, there hadn't been a redefinition of what. In the past, you would find that they say if there's a mark on the ballot, outside the box designated for thumbprinting.
Well, this was a meeting that just happened between the AU and the Electoral Commission of Ghana and other stakeholders concerning some electoral issues that have come up, and the Electoral Commission is seeing to how it is going to solve some of these problems and challenges to make our electoral system better. Now, members of the New Patriotic Party in the Nanton constituency of the Northern Region locked up the constituency office of the party over a suspension of some members of the party in the constituency, calling for immediate revocation of the suspension. About 34 people, mainly polling station executives of the NPP in the Nanton constituency of the Northern Region, were suspended for some few days ago for their alleged involvement in the unprecedented defeat of the party in the constituency in the just ended 2024 elections. However, these suspensions did not go down well with the many party faithfuls in the constituency, who described it as illegal and has therefore called for the immediate revocation of the suspension to save the party going into the future. Now, they also accuse leadership of the party in the constituency of Baya, saying they are rather working against the party. Let's go cross over and speak with Dibaba, who has joined us via phone to give us some more details of what's happening. Dibaba, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Annie.
All right. So, with this locking of office by party faithfuls, is that a culture that is that a culture that has stayed on, or is now being introduced in the constituency?
Well, this is the first time we are seeing something like that from the Nanton constituency, and as a matter of fact, we have never heard of any suspension from the police for a very long time. But unfortunately, some few days ago, about 34 people were suspended, including a businessman or a financier of the party within the constituency, which did not go down well with the youth of the party within the constituency. And they are calling for the immediate revocation, or else, according to them, they are going to behave in a way none of the party leaders will like. And according to them, after locking the office, they dare anybody to go and break the office and see what they will do to the person. Because according to them, and according to many of the people who were suspended, they were never contacted and they were never aware of any issue against them until the letter was out. And according to the Council of Elders of the party within the constituency, nobody consulted them, and according to the MPP's constitution, they have to be consulted. They have to give a go-ahead to the party executives to do this kind of suspension, and according to them, they are not aware of any action against any member of the constituency within the party. And many of the party youth are also of the view that many of the constituency executives did not work for the party, and they were suspecting, or they were thinking that if there were going to be any suspension, it should have rather been some of those executives and not the grassroots loyalists of the party. According to them, a pickup was given to the constituency chairman for party activities, but he was using it for his farm activities, according to them. And for that matter, they were thinking that the chairman should have been cautioned rather than suspending people. We also had information that some of the constituency executives were not in support of these suspensions, and they are also calling on their colleague executives to revoke the suspension to save the party within the constituency. I must also mention that the Nanton constituency, as a matter of fact, is not an NPP stronghold. So they are saying that they have started building strong bonds with the people within the constituency, but this kind of actions are going to destroy the fortunes that they have built so far. So they are calling on every member of the party, including the national executives of the party, to call the constituency chairman and his executives to order to ensure that they revoke the suspension. And many of the party youth were very angry that they were saying that if something is not done, they are going to burn down the party's office. The one they locked, they are going to burn it down. But many of the party elders who were part of this movement said nobody should try that because the party is for them, and those individuals doing this are just coming in to destroy it. For that matter, they should not burn anything, but they should make sure that they fight this thing legally to the end.
Deepaba, are these just a scratch on the surface of things yet to happen, maybe within the party on the larger scale?
Well, actually, that is not what we are seeing or hearing, because if you look at the situation within the northern region, many of the people believe that some regional executives, especially the chairman, has hand in this. Because according to them, because he wants to come back again or he wants to contest the chairmanship bid again, he is doing everything to ensure that all those who are against him are taken off. Because we have seen this in the Yendi constituency where almost 200 people were suspended, in the Wulinsi constituency where over 100 people were suspended, in the Zabsugo constituency, and we are hearing that they are preparing the list for Sanargo constituency. And so this is becoming a very common thing within the northern region where party grassroots members or executives are being suspended. So the Nanton constituency youth are saying that they are not going to buy into this because the people they are suspending are the very people they always go into the hinterlands to campaign with. They are the very people they always work day and night with to ensure that the party survives. And for that matter, they are not going to accept what maybe Yendi constituency people will accept. They are not going to accept what maybe the good people of Zabzugu will accept. They are going to ensure that these suspensions are revoked.
So after the locking of the office, what have the party leadership done in the area? Have they come there to see the situation? Have they called any, preliminary meetings, after that?
Yes, we contacted a number of them, including the former MP, who said they are going to go into this with all seriousness because according to them, what is happening will not help the party in the constituency, and they are going to put their heads together. According to the information I picked, they are going to put their heads together and see the way forward. But I tried speaking to the constituency chairman, but I called a number of times, but his lines were not going through. So we are still following up to see or to speak to many of them. But the former MP, who was also accused, told us that they are going to go into this issue to ensure that it is resolved amicably. But he made mention categorically that he was not part of this and he is not aware of any suspension in the constituency.
So as of now, we are not sure what the party is doing next.
Exactly, because none of the people are forthcoming with much information about this issue, because we had information that the secretary was the one leading all those things, but we tried speaking to them, but it was we couldn't get to speak to him. So that is what is happening currently, and the people that are being accused, apart from the MP, none of them is coming forth with information to clarify their name or to ensure that these suspensions are revoked. But we had information that they are going to push this issue to the national level, because according to them, those few individuals are going to destroy their party in the constituency, and they will not have to sit, or they won't sit down and look at them or watch them destroy the party. According to them, new leadership, there will be a new leadership in the constituency, and for that matter, they don't want anybody to destroy the party for them, because they believe they are winning the constituency seat back in 2028.
Right. Alhassan Dibaba, we're grateful. I keep an eye on the development and feed us with it. So that's the development in Nanton constituency, where the NPP youth has locked up the offices due to some suspension that the party leveled against some of the members of the party. We're taking a breather, and the producers are trying to reach the party executives at the national level. As and when we're able to get through, we'll speak with them for some updates on that development as well. We'll be back shortly.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and Aerocop brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafua Jinkwa, and the Aerocop with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP and Aerocop organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
One upgrade is nice, but a double upgrade is amazing. And that's how we do it. Upgrade today to get even more with Step Up. If you're on GoTV Max and upgrade to GoTV Super, you'll get way more with GoTV Super Plus.
That's so cool!
Get big value. Get big entertainment.
Very good.
Perfect! Upgrade and get even more with GoTV. GoTV. Love it.
in the budget and the figures they have put across. Primary balance figures, computation that is wrong, using all kinds of arrests that do not find expression in the definition of the primary balance, and figures that have not been verified. And the minister said something. He said that total expenditure as a percentage of revenue for 2024 was 26%, and that he is going to do total expenditure as a percentage of revenue of 20%. Why? Do you know why he said that?
No.
He was trying to create an impression that President Akufo-Addo overspent.
Yeah, but with this his figures, will he be able to achieve?
I'm coming. He said President Akufo-Addo overspent more than he was supposed to spend, but he is going to spend less relative to revenue. This is what the minister said. Total revenue as a percentage of expenditure for 2024 was 26. That is what he said, and he's going to do 20%. Meanwhile, Paul, this is the budget presented by the finance minister. If you go to page 133 and 132, appendix 2C, that is where the details are. They say the sweetness of what?
Is it the eating?
Exactly. Of the pudding is the eating. You go to the tables, everybody should take the budget. Cross-check that with what the minister said. What he said was just to put out some figures to deceive people and let President Akufo-Addo look bad. It is not true. If you go to appendix 2C, page 132, 122, it says that the total expenditure for 2024 was 226 billion. And then the nominal GDP growth is 1.2 trillion. If you strike the ratio, okay, 226 billion divided by 1.2 trillion gives you 19%.
Not 26.
Not 26, the minister's own budget. If you go to the appendix. So the 26 total expenditure to revenue ratio of 26 he mentioned was a lie.
And that's Gideon Bwako there, who was having a time with Paul Adomochi on Good Evening Ghana, explaining into further details the budget that was presented by the finance minister, indicating that figures were not tallying. And Gideon Bwako was also the vice presidential advisor on the economy at the office of the vice president. Gideon Bwako there, he's also a member of parliament, who has joined us in the August House. We'll be doing some more analysis on the budget subsequently, but that was his position. Earlier on, we brought you a story about the MPP that also has locked up its office, the youth of MPP in the Nanton constituency locking up its office due to some suspensions that have been that have hit some party supporters in the constituency. And this youth is claiming that the party executives in the area must rather be blamed for the defeat of the elections, for their defeat in the election 2024, and rather not the people who have been suspended from the party. Now, following this locking up of offices, the party supporters and the party executives have not really said anything about it. So the producers are trying to reach some of the party executives, those who were in charge, especially during the elections, were trying to reach Miracle Sabwaje for some details of this.
That me baba na ticheka baba na nya party do me nya people la wa tena na ba partially ama entima won kon party ma buza haja to so ya do me nya party pa na ton ko na ton ko ora fa party won bendira ne parle nyama za kato son ya para ka nyirba chat ya no chat kablen jale un kulbe yonse ka ko ko kablen so arosa no lo ba ta kar so party office wore so chat chama ne moto ma chat ko hara do so chat para party office ma the party office ma nyala ta za habere ka so ba bere nyale ka chama mi sule chama mi ba ka so wabgo chama ko yeso wabgo.
The youth of Nanton, they're associated with the MPP, explaining and expressing their anger and upset about the decision of the party. Miracles, good afternoon. Miracles Abuaje is actually the campaign director for the Baumia campaign during the election 2024. He has joined us via phone to get a word or two from him about this development. Miracles, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Annie. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. Well, so this update, we just received it about a few minutes ago. We've spoken with our correspondent who has indicated that party officials in the Nanton constituency have actually not spoken about the matter yet, and we've seen the cameras giving us the details of how the party offices have been locked with chains due to the fact that some members of the party have been suspended, being blamed for the party's defeat. Maybe your earlier comments, I'm sure you will do a further check on this later after we speak with you.
Well, I mean, I think it's quite unfortunate. You recall that earlier this week, the party executives in the constituency suspended a few members for some misconduct. And rightly so, the party has rules. The party has a constitution that we work with. And the party's constitution is quite clear about how one can become a member of the party or can leave or cease to be a member of the party. And one particular critical element in our constitution is about, I think it's on forfeiture of membership, where it says that a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party, or who joins or declares his or his support for another political party, or an independent candidate when the party has a sponsored candidate in a general election, ceases, automatically forfeits his or her membership. And so if we are to follow the reasons for the disciplinary action against these members per the Nanton constituency executives letter, what they are saying is that some members of our party in the immediate, in the past election, 2024 elections, decided to throw their support behind the NDC candidate. And I believe these are some of the reasons why, according to the constituency executives, this action has been taken against these members. I am quite sure that whatever it is that is happening now, the leadership of the party in the constituency and at the regional level would quickly intervene and get these things resolved. I believe that it's an issue of some people not probably being happy with the decision that has been taken against them. But the party has rules, and these rules will be followed to resolve these issues. I'm sure it will be sorted out in the next few hours.
Miracles, you know, the issue of you losing elections and some of the matters that you have spoken about, a report that the party itself has generated after the elections, is something that you probably may want to consider so that you're not so stern on party supporters, because I think the issues are so varied and it goes beyond just what party supporters have done against the party. I hope you appreciate that.
I think your point is quite clear, and that's exactly what the party is doing. As you have noticed, everybody in the party has been quiet and engaging the election review committee to ensure that we're able to internally even ascertain completely what the issues were, and then we can adjust and amend and improve moving forward. That notwithstanding, the party, New Patriotic Party as an organization, continues to run. After the election, the party doesn't cease to exist.
Yeah.
The party is still in existence with its rules. And when the party has rules and you fail to utilize or execute these rules, then of course you'll be encouraging impunity, a lot of indiscipline and what have you. Even for those who may have been suspended, the same constitution gives them room to appeal beyond the constituency executives to the regional level, all the way to the national level. And I believe that that may be one of the advices that will be given to these members, for them to resort to the internal party resources available to be able to get their grievances addressed. And like I said, that will be done. Our party has rules. The party rules protect both members and also give guidance to leadership of the party. And these rules are purely the rules that will be utilized to ensure that we continuously grow as an organization and build a formidable front for subsequent elections.
These 34 persons who were suspended, are they official members or they are just supporters of the party?
Well, I mean, according to the constituency executives, as we have seen it, some are polling station executives.
Okay.
And so you know that you are aware that once you hold an official position in the party, there are certain encumbrances on you. There are certain responsibilities that come on you. I mean, only think about it. If I'm just a sympathizer of the MPP, you can't suspend me.
Yeah.
So typically these actions will be going against executives and some leaders of the party who may have engaged in one misconduct or the other. But like I said, these are early days yet. There are systems within the party to allow them to resort to, some appeal processes all the way to the national level. And the party has these mechanisms to ensure that these things are dealt with. But surely these are polling station executives, people who hold positions in the party.
Right. Marcos, before I let you go, I know that you have come out maybe before that. So you're going to follow up with this. I called you because of your position as the campaign director during the 2024 elections for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But I know that you probably will liaise with the party executives to bring this matter to a conclusion, right? Because after the locking of the office, no official has spoken yet about it.
Very well. I'm sure you remember when you called me, I even mentioned that we need to quickly get the General Secretary to make a comment on this. So this is just preliminary. This is just as, preliminary commenting on what has transpired. But I'm sure as we speak, the General Secretary probably is already in touch with the constituency and handling the situation.
Right. Now, after election 2024, I know you've also relaunched your communication activities. I've seen you on at least 2 platforms after you came into the communication scene again. On one of the platforms, I heard you apologize to Ghanaians. What exactly were you apologizing for?
Annie, I don't know how much time you have, but all I've been saying is that we went into an election. We gave it our all. Every single party person and party official or anybody that has a function to play, a formal function to play in the party and in the campaign, applied ourselves to our utmost best. It was our hope and belief and wish that we would have won these elections and won it decisively, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And trust me, since the elections, a lot of people have gone through difficulties. There are people who have had medical conditions and issues because of our loss. I hear some people had been or were hospitalized for weeks and days after the elections. It tells you that you have millions and millions of people who are following you with their hearts and were passionately and emotionally involved in this contest. And then unfortunately it didn't happen. Remember, I personally had a responsibility to lead the campaign comms. And so I cannot run away from the fact that I held the responsibility to work with everybody in the party, work with all the sympathizers across the country so we win the elections. If we don't win, and we hear people blaming each other every day, I wake up, I hear one party person blaming another person, somebody saying this person has done what. I think that all of that needs to cease. We need to move on from conversations around the elections and begin to rebuild for future. So the point I'm making is we apologize. Sincerely, I send my sincerest apology to every sympathizer of the MPP and every Ghanaian who believes that the MPP was the best option for this country and we lost. I believe that my mandate as a comms director included doing everything possible to ensure that we win this elections. It didn't happen, and I take full responsibility for it without any excuses. If all we are going to do is to point fingers at each other, please let us stop. Let's cease. We've been through this before. We've lost elections before. We've come back stronger before. And if you want somebody to blame and you can't find anybody, or if you're going to blame your brother or your friend in your constituency and your polling station, and it will disintegrate our party and cause disunity, please stop and point your fingers at me. because I had a responsibility also to make sure that we get things done. Put all the blame on me so that we can have our peace and unity for us to reorganize ourselves and get into the future. I am committed to ensuring that we get these NDC government out of power as soon as possible. They have no proper plan for us. I listened to their budget yesterday. You do not see clearly what the economic program is. You see the budget and you simply see a manifesto that has just been transported into the budget without any clear-cut economic program to deal with the issues they so much spoke of when they were in opposition. A party that won an election on the back of job creation comes into office and its first budget is placing a ban on public sector employment. That is a worry. A party that comes into office on the back of a major economic program they call 24-hour economy, and you don't find it expressing in the first year to at least give you an indication of what they are going to do in subsequent years. That, for me, is quite worrying. And these things are the things that the Ghanaian citizens are counting on us to be able to put this government on their toes and get them to do and fulfill the promises they made to us. Are you not worried, Annie, that this government spoke about cutting costs and reducing government expenditure, and yet you have this same government allocating over 2.7 billion to Office of Government Machinery, when the government they accuse of having a large government, for which reason Ghanaians voted them out, we spend barely 327 million for Office of Government Machinery. So it's like we are having a questionable government. They are very lean with very big stomach. A lean government with big stomach to consume even more than the large government had to consume. And these are the things that the Ghanaian people are counting on us as an opposition party to highlight and draw the government's attention to, so that the government will do the right things. We don't intend to be a disruptive opposition like they did to us, but we can assure the Ghanaian people that we are going to provide critical, extremely critical and important alternatives to this government, and make sure that at least baseline they are fulfilling their promises.
But Miracles, if you describe the budget as a manifesto, is the manifesto not supposed to be situated in the budget?
You see, you situate the manifesto in the budget, but we should see the overarching program, which would ensure that all the little pieces, all the various arms would come together. There must be a program drawing all these various elements, as you have in the manifesto, into a national development plan, and that's what is missing. So yes, you see an allocation of money towards Women Development Bank. You see an allocation of money towards a national apprenticeship program. What are you driving at? What is your plan? What is your program? That is still missing in our budget. I'm sure if I ask you right now that what is the NDC's economic program, you will find it difficult to tell. But it will be easy for you to mention how much they are allocated to every single thing in the manifesto. And that's what we need to critically look at. These are facts, Annie. These are not emotional things. Whether we like it or not, the MPP is in opposition. Nothing will change it. But the most important thing is that the MPP is in opposition because the NDC assured the Ghanaian people that they had a credible alternative. And so all we need to do is to get them to put that critical alternative to work and make sure that they fulfill it. And if you're not seeing it, we should be allowed to highlight these things.
Miracles, I will, since you actually went into the budget, I would like you to hold on a moment and see if I can engage you a bit further. If you have some minutes, because I didn't prompt you earlier. Do you have some minutes?
I'm not sure I will be able to, but you go ahead. I mean,
Okay.
as much as
Thank
we can.
you. So I have in the studio Miss Ama Oforientwi. And she's actually Executive Secretary of the Environmental Service Providers Association, ESPA, Environmental Service Providers Association. Your work basically is on sanitation. So you listen to the budget, right? You know that the sanitation levy has been put under the ESLA. Is that something that you have a problem with?
Going forward, I think it's given me great joy to be on this platform. I talk for the sector, the Environmental Service Providers Association, and then for the environmental sanitation sector as a whole in Ghana. And with the budget that was read yesterday, I think everything was okay, except for the fact that we saw the sanitation and pollution levy being moved back to the energy ministry. And for us, the sanitation and pollution levy is a great it was a good initiative, which is very novel and which has been there to support the sector players. And the levy has stated a category what the money should be used for. That is the pollution of the environment, building of infrastructure, and going forward to solve the sanitation challenges within the country.
When the levy was introduced and maybe some money is raked in, what were some of the specific benefits that you saw that we were getting from the sanitation levy?
Specific benefits so far has been for the infrastructure, putting up infrastructure in the sector. As a result, we have about 16 integrated recycling facilities all over the country, and that is what the levy is supporting. So from sector perspective, one, we just want to understand why the levy has been moved to the energy sector. And then two, it was under the Ministry of Sanitation and Environment. So if the Ministry of Sanitation and Environment is no longer in existence and it has gone back to the Ministry of Local Governments, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, which for us we also think is now a very huge and big ministry, why then can't we have a sanitation authority where we can find the sanitation and pollution levy going into that authority to service the sector players in the sector? So from where I sit, that is the concern, and we want to understand why we would not have it back even at local government, but instead we are seeing it in energy. And it's been stated specifically, it's been stated categorically that it's going to be used to service the debts in the energy sector.
So there's a fear that monies may be accrued, but it will not be used for the work it is supposed to be used for in terms of sanitation, right? So let me go back to Miracles so that I can wrap up with him before he take leave of us. Miracles. So that's we're dealing with sector by sector, and that's one of the areas that we're touching on, sanitation and the changes that we saw in the budget presentation. What do you make of this?
I mean, to be very honest, you realize that in my initial comments on the budget, I didn't even necessarily criticize some of the allocations and some of the plans they made for the sectors, because I mean, that's the plan. That's the budget planning for that particular sector. We would hope that implementation will be watertight and help improve our environment and the sanitation space. I even saw some other ones like the support of the recovery for the Ketu South people, those around the seaside, those who were affected by the sea, and so many other things. So for me, I think it's implementation. You know, the issues with our sanitation here has always been the implementation. So probably we should wait and see how that goes. But what is for me is critical is that there is a basic issue with our environment now that we need to deal with, which is probably a bigger matter. That is Galamsey. Is Galamsey. So whilst we do all of these things, we cannot lose sight of the fact that we need to quickly keep an eye on this Galamsey issue and deal with this once and for all. I mean, remember you and I had conversations around Galamsey, and I kept telling you that if you politicize Galamsey, you will fail. Unfortunately, our brothers in the NDC at the time, because they were looking for political power, did not mind, and they went on politicizing it. Fortunately, they are in power. I have always said that I'm not asking the president or the government to do anything extraordinary. I'm only saying fulfill the promises you made, implement the alternatives and the recommendations you made whilst you were in opposition. One, he said that government at the time, as at November, should call for a state of emergency because of Galamsey. Today, in the last 2 months, Galamsey has escalated way beyond what it was as at November last year. And so it's fair for anybody to call on the president that just do what he thought was supposed to have been done in November, because now it is worse. Call for a state of emergency. Go to Parliament. You said that the government then should have gone to Parliament to repeal the EI that allowed mining in our forest areas. I'm surprised that 60 days in office with over 188 MPs in parliament, that should have been the first thing the president would send to parliament to repeal. Remember, he said he was going to place a ban on small-scale mining for a while so he can have a grip over the situation. It's been 60 days. Just issue that executive order and let us place the ban on it. Remember that he said he was going to place a ban on mining on forest reserves. Today, mining on forest reserves has escalated than it was 3 months ago, with 30 functionaries involved in the illegal mining in our forest areas. The NDC executives are accosting military men who are going about their lawful duties and asking them what they are doing in the mining areas. And these are critical things with our environment that the government needs to take a quick look at. I don't intend to make Galamsey a political matter because I have worked with the local government, I have worked in the local government sector, and I can tell you for a fact that if you politicize Galamsey, we are going to fail and lose the fight. And if we continue to lose this fight, we are putting our country at risk. And so we are willing and ready to not do what they did to us whilst they were in opposition. And it will be important for them to give decisive indications as to their commitment towards the things they said they were going to do. Then we can give them support to get it done. But we need to deal with that environment menace as soon as possible.
How soon do you think the issue of environmental situation and maybe Galamsey should be solved?
These are decisions that you don't need much time to do. So it's not solved, but I think we want to see the actions being taken.
Okay.
You get it? I mean, I won't say that I expect a 60-day-old government to solve Galamsey. But so far, we haven't seen the government do anything when it comes to dealing with Galamsey. We haven't seen them do anything when it comes to dealing with Galamsey, especially...
That would be factually untrue because the recent report put out by Erastus Asaredonko about some new forest reserve, invasion and some areas. The government moved in and arrested some people and seized some 10 excavators, we're told.
Annie, I'm actually factually right because you are aware that since Nana Danko Akufo-Addo declared a war on Galamsey, the military men and the security officials, they haven't left the forest areas. They have always been there. Throughout the campaign, we still had military men in there. In fact, I can read to you a story on my Enjoy Online and City newsroom as late as October 2024, with military men arresting excavators and chamfans and setting them on fire and taking people into custody. So these people have been there. So the government hasn't done anything. It is the same program that was running, that is still running. My concern is that the president at the time told us that program we've been running, which you are referring to now, that is being done, is a waste of time. And that he doesn't know why, as a government, we're going about arresting these young boys who are just driving excavators and operating machines in the pit for their livelihood and leaving the kingpins. And that when he comes, and he was categorical, when he comes, he was going to release all these people from police custody and from the prisons and go after the kingpins. So if at the moment you haven't gone after the kingpins and you are simply doing what you came to meet, then clearly you haven't done anything, Annie.
You're being hard. I want to let you go, but you're being hard on government. Just about 50 days, a little over 50 days in office. If you have to release people from prison, it will take legal procedure.
What does it take to issue an executive order to place a ban on Galamsey if you believe in it? You don't need 100 or 200 days to do that.
Right.
You need 2 days to do that. When Trump came to office, the same day, he issued over 60 executive instruments. The same day. When Trump came, this is a president that is committed to the things he said while in opposition. And these things we are saying, you have 188 members of parliament. You can do it in 1 hour or 30 minutes if you are committed to it.
Miracle Sabwaje, I'm grateful that within a short period you were able to respond to us. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll engage you extensively later. Thank you. Miracle Sabwaje is the campaign director, or was a campaign director for the Bawumia campaign team in 2024. My colleague, what's your name? Desmond has joined me in the studio.
I know.
That's Starboy. How are you?
All right, so Annie, I'm well. We just want to give our viewers out there some of the things that were said with regards to sanitation during the budget presentation yesterday by the Finance Minister, Dr. Kaysil Atuforsi. So let's go right into it. So for sanitation and pollution...
So those are details about the...
Yes.
And what, okay.
Yes. So government is set to review the Energy Sector Levies Act, that's the ESLA we talked about, to consolidate the Energy Debt Recovery Levy, Energy Sector Recovery Levy, Delta Fund, and Sanitation and Pollution Levy into one levy and use the proceeds to cater for the energy sector shortfalls and service the inherited debt service obligation. So that's another one. Now, the rest of the energy sector levies, including road fund levy, energy fund levy, price stabilization and recovery levy, public lighting levy, and national electrification levy, will remain to support the achievement of their intended objectives.
Can you take that again?
So now, the rest of the energy sector levies, that includes road fund levy, energy fund levy, price stabilization and recovery levy, public lighting levy, and national electrification levy, will remain to support the achievements of their intended objectives. So these are not going to change. They're still going to be there. Okay. But let's get back to the first one, as we heard Madam talk about earlier.
Let's go back to that first one.
Yes.
Right.
So this government says they will review the ESLA, the Energy Sector Levies Act, and doing that, they'll consolidate the Energy Debt Recovery Levy, Energy Sector Recovery Levy, that's the Delta Fund, and this is the most important one, as we're talking about on the show, Sanitation and Pollution Levy, all will be put into one. So now, as this was separated, it's now going to be added to the energy sector. And that is where I believe that our guest was raising issues with regards to that. So Sanitation and Pollution Levy into one levy, and use the proceeds to cater for the energy sector shortfalls and service the inherited debt service obligation.
So it is actually clear in this, what the minister said yesterday, that when the revenue is accrued, we see what it's going to be used for.
So it looks like the debt from the energy sector is so huge that what was meant for sanitation and pollution to help keep our country clean is now going to be added to all the other levies in the energy sector to pay off, as you see here, to cater for the energy sector shortfalls and service inherited debt service obligations. So it means that what we were using, as the levies to help the clearing of our communities, all the things we see on our street in terms of refuse, is now going into the servicing of debts from the energy sector. And I'm sure this is not good news for various stakeholders, like our guest is, with respect to the fight against making sure that we keep our country clean.
Right, Desi, I'm sure I will engage you again, but Mr. Oforenche, this is what we're seeing, this is what you're talking about. So it is actually clear you have a genuine concern to express, because it is clear that this money, when accrued, will be put to something else instead of sanitation. So what then is going to happen to ESPA?
It's early days yet, so we want to recommend to the government to relook at the policy on the sanitation and pollution levy. Already, with the sanitation and pollution levy, it was a novel thing that was initiated, and it has gone a long way to solve most of the sanitation challenges in the country. It's a process, we are on its way. Courtesy of the sanitation and pollution levy, we are able to sustain existing facilities. That's the recycling facilities, the compost facilities, and we are also using it for the environmental pollution. It also caters for the final disposal sites, as to have waste disposed of at the final disposal site. All these are the sanitation and pollution levy are used to sustain these environmental practices in our environment. So, if we are going to have a situation where the fund is going to be sent into the ESLA, we have questions to want to understand. Would the sanitation and pollution levy be ring-fenced from the ESLA, and then the process will continue so that we can sustain the sector players,
the gains that you have made,
the sector players in the sanitation sector players, so that they can continue to do their work and then deliver on their services. Would the funds still be available to sustain the sector players? That is a question that the Environmental Service Providers Association would want to find out from the government. And the other issue we were of the opinion was, even if the ministry has been collapsed, now the ministry, the sanitation people are back to Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Now the local government has a very big mandate. So we are proposing that under local government we have the Sanitation Authority. So under the Sanitation Authority, now we can now have a fund, put all the resources so that that authority will come with the financing of the sanitation sector, where we can now have resources readily available for the sector players, so that they can, especially with the private sector, so that the private sector players can have a leverage to continue with the work they do in the sector. So basically, these are the questions that we have identified, and would be very happy if the government can quickly look at these issues and see how we can address it, and then going forward, ensure that the sanitation and pollution levy is not taken away from the sector. That one will cause us so much harm. Already, the issue of cholera is out there. Already, as we speak, we cannot attest the fact that our environment is not too clean, all because we have no funds. All these are due to lack of funds. So this is the time we even need more funds. We even need to be more proactive, more creative, and even see if we can even get other levies, like on council tax and other things, so that we can even support the sector, so that the sector can perform better.
I was asking if you are introducing a fund or you are proposing a fund due to the nature of the activities in the sanitation sector.
Because our sector have now moved back to Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. We are proposing the National Sanitation Authority, so that the National Sanitation Authority will be there to be responsible for the sector,
policing the environment,
the environmental sanitation sector. So this is our proposal.
I'm sorry not to cut you. This thing about authority, make us an authority. You know, it's not a proposal that's starting from you.
Yes,
it's a proposal that has been with the MMDAs. Most of the MMDAs will be requesting make us an authority and we'll work effectively. But we've done that with some examples, and we didn't see any much difference.
But currently we have a local government ministry.
Yes.
That is so heavily, there's so much demand on the ministry.
Demand?
Yes, because
what's
now
the
local
demand?
government, it's been merged. So we now have local government, chieftaincy, and the religious affairs.
Yes.
So for our sector, it has always been under local government. So we have the opinion this is the opportune time for the sector to have an authority to ensure that a levy like the sanitation and pollution levy will find its way there, so that the key actors that can access these funds can easily have access to it and then use it to do the work that is required of them.
That's a way of trying to cow out the sanitation from the local government ministry.
No,
so that sanitation will be on its own.
No, we just need an authority.
It will be it will be an agency under the ministry.
Yes,
anyway.
It will be an agency because kindly, it was a whole ministry.
Yes, but
so now that is under local government.
Yes, but it's still a unit.
Laudable and it's a good unit. So under that same unit, we should have a fund that will be responsible for the sector, which we already have, which is the SPL, which is very laudable. So right now that the SPL is not even being seen at the local government, what does it imply for the sector? So this is where we are proposing that going forward, the SPL, even if it is ring-fenced, and it will not even be at ESLA. It should find its way back to the Ministry of Local Government.
I'm clear on the funds and how you are proposing how it should be managed. I'm just a little bit taken aback on the proposal for the authority type of, because
the authority should come with the fund. We cannot just have an authority.
Yes, without
so once we are getting the authority must come with the fund. So what are we going to, where would the sources of funding come for the authority? So this is a proposal we are pushing. This is an agenda we want pursued.
So what's going to be next with this? Because it looks like this move is going to happen. Desi, do you have something for me on that?
Not for now, but basically, just to wrap up on this, as our guest wrap up on this also, as she mentioned already, with the sanitation and pollution levy, as we had already, the funds, we're crying for more funds to help, with the sanitation issues in the country, and now that is going into reservicing debts and all that. We don't know how things are going to pan out with that. So we'll definitely see how that goes.
All right.
It's early days, yes. And I'm sure there's now going to be debate.
Yes.
So we are recommending and we are proposing that it should be relooked at and be sent back to the appropriate.
Okay, definitely.
All right. So let's finish with you. But are you making any effort to reach the ministry and send your proposals across and see if it's,
it came out
so that
only yesterday.
During the debates they may want to.
It came out only yesterday. So quickly we'll be putting a position paper so that the government can look at our concerns.
Okay. Right. I thank you for making time with us here. Ms. Amma Oforienchi is the Executive Secretary for Environmental Service Providers Association, also having their take on the budget that was presented by the Finance Minister yesterday. And we're hoping to see how your communique will go, and then we'll also follow up on its responses. Thank you. And that's also, the concern is coming from how the sanitation levy is now being put under ESLA going into the energy sector. So it means that it's a sanitation ministry the sanitation sector going to lose out on funds that are being collected in the name of sanitation levy. She's proposing that it be ring-fenced so that we still have the benefits of the monies being collected. I'm grateful once again for coming through. We're still on Good Afternoon Ghana. We're going all the way to 2 p.m. Now, let's still stay a little longer with budgets. And this time, betting. So, Desmond, again, what's your name?
I know,
Desmond Okweku will take us through
yes.
the Star Boy. Yes.
Yes, Annie. So yesterday, before the budget was read, there were a lot of concerns. A lot of people were looking forward to one thing, and that was the cancellation of the betting tax. So a lot of boys were praying because boys have been, living on that. A lot of boys are into betting and doing all of that. So they were praying that the issue of bets will be tackled, especially with the withholding tax on winnings when it comes to bets. And this article will show you some of the receipts from people, because after the presentation yesterday, when the finance minister mentioned that they were going to take off the betting tax, then there was a presser by the minority in parliament where the former finance minister mentioned that it didn't come into being. It wasn't implemented. And a lot of people are saying that, no, that is definitely wrong. And so I'll tell you about that. And it's going to be an interesting one. What? Oh, I mean, I know a lot of people who bet.
Do you bet?
I know a lot of people who bet.
I'm asking, do you bet? It's a simple answer, yes or no.
I know a lot of people bet, so I'm talking from people's experiences.
So it means that by extension you bet?
I've done a few times before.
Okay.
Yes.
So you bet?
A few times before.
All right. What's our background?
Oh, so this year is a song that was released just last night.
It looks so powerful. The creativity on this.
This is from the boss himself, Shatawale.
Oh, I see Shatawale.
So he got into the studio.
Oh, that's my guy.
Oh, he's your guy. Okay.
Yes.
So he got into the studio and released this song titled Betting Tax. So in this song, he talks about how...
Betting Tax, Midnight Dreams.
Oh, yes. So the boys who do the bets, lots of it get into the middle of the night, right? So there's the basketball, hockey, and those are foreign games. And so sometimes they are played in those countries where in Ghana it's midnight. So the boys stay up, try to, follow all that. So it's the dream of the boys during the midnight.
Okay.
Right. So the song talks about, bets and how the implementation has been taking money away from the boys who are trying to make some money. And then he talks about the fact that the former finance minister is actually taking us for fools, saying that it never happened. So let's listen to the song Betting Tax from Shatta. When we come back, I'll share with you some of the receipts from some of the people who bet surely.
Talk and make I hear that jazz. You go see cutlass. Charlie, I tire for this country. Only they get to use them monitoring. When them see say we take the money, them start worry we. Olu, you be selfish. You too be selfish. All this money they buy, your children go come, then go rubbish. Go Ponglo, the kids stay there. Under bridge, the kids stay there. Go airport, my creepers stay there too. Every day, we dey get $200 million, $900 million. We be 37 million. How much can man go chop? Betting tax, them collect 8 years like that. Today you say no be you bring that. Talk and make I hear that jazz. You go see cutlass. Betting tax, them collect 8 years like that. Today you say no be you bring that. Talk and make I hear that jazz. You go see cutlass.
He's talking to
problem. Because when you talk, them won't come for you. But no be me one done. She can walk on me back.
So
that's the song.
Desmond, wait. Did
Yes.
you say that this was just how do you say when you?
This is a quick fix
from last night.
Yes. After the presentation and all the back and forth of social media, after the minority and the former finance minister.
The word I wanted to use is compose. He composed this last night.
He composed this just over the night and released it.
So what's the message in there? I heard Olu be selfish.
Yes, Olu be selfish. So he's talking about the elderly people who are governing us, the politicians. They are being selfish. Every day we hear $200 billion, $900 billion.
Oh, okay.
And he says that, what is our population? We're about what? 35 million people. And here no be a bedi. Obi a chichebia. So they are telling us that it wasn't implemented. Meanwhile, the thing was implemented. And so we cannot be taken for John, like fools. Right? So that's what Shatawale says in the song. And I like the last bit of it, where he tells the people that I know be star or be your brother. So me too, I go through Yes. So that's what yes.
Probably he also bets sometimes.
Oh yes. Oh he won that a few weeks ago, a month ago. Big one. So now let's take a look at some of the receipts people showed about the betting when the former finance minister said that it wasn't implemented. Now this is withholding tax. This is the definition. If you go on one of the bet sites, it says that withholding tax, according to the GRA, sports betting and virtual games of chance winnings are subject to 10% withholding tax. Withholding tax is calculated and charged at the time of withdrawal as follows. Withholding tax is equal to gross winnings times 10%. So it gives the definition there: gross winnings, withdrawal amount, deductible stake amount. That's what it is. And deductible stake amount is equal to total deposits made since their last withdrawal and within the past 30 days. So let's take a look at some of the receipts. Let's go and take a look at some of the receipts that people were sharing. So you see this. You see this. So this person won. So this person you see here, so this 9,015 cedis, 9,000, and the withholding tax is what, 985 cedis, and this was just 1st of March 2025.
They win this much?
Oh yes. Oh, you'll see from the other side. Let's move on to the other slides. Some people's so this person withholding tax was what, 460 cedis when they were withdrawing from there. We'll go to the next one. So you see this. Just look at this. Someone's withholding tax is 1,400. So that's 10% of the amount. So you're looking at this person who won about 10,000 and over. Look at this, 2,000. That's a withholding tax. 2,000, this is 10% too. So
that person must have won maybe about 20,000.
20,000. And see, this person won 9,000, and the withholding tax was 736, so 9,270 Ghana cedis, and the withholding tax, as withdrawing, the withholding tax 730 Ghana cedis.
Upon seeing the figures and the winnings,
oh yes,
I feel like don't remove the betting tax.
People are actually cashing out from bets.
So someone can actually win.
Yes.
Back to back.
Yes.
10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000.
Yes. And the thing is, the more you're winning, then the higher the withholding taxes, which is like the 10% in there. So a lot of people are sharing receipts that former finance minister, you are lying. Because you've been cheating us. This thing has been happening every day. When we win, we see the withholding tax there.
No, you see, I think the confusion has to do with this betting winnings and then lottery.
And lottery,
well.
I saw that Samir Uku, the former CEO of NLA, said a few things.
Right.
But the thing is that this is the receipt.
So this is what we're talking about.
That's what we are talking about.
And we're trying to get the finance minister. I'm so sure that this is what he meant.
Yes. So this person is withdrawing 2,728. The person may have won a lot, but withdrawing 2,728. So whilst withdrawing that, the withholding tax 10% is 272 cedis on that amount. And that's what the boys said that no, we are not happy with that. Do we have the boys, do you have their videos, some of them speaking to you? Well, some of we talk behind the scenes. Wow. We talk behind the scenes, but some people know they don't exactly want to know their faces on there. But yeah, so you see it. The more you're winning 4,000 cedis, we're drawing 4,000 cedis and 460 cedis from that. So that's with it, with the betting tax. The boys are happy now that if they win and they are withdrawing, there's no tax. They take their full amount, in there, and they are good to go. So that's it with the betting tax. And of course, a lot of people share their thoughts about it on social media. And people actually dropping the receipts that this is what has been happening, and they are saying that it wasn't implemented. Yeah.
And they said they didn't mean this one. They
didn't mean this one. But this one, we see
lottery betting.
So today, if you need some odds, King Kaninja has been doing some odds on Original Sports and also on Metro Sports. Can join, you get a few odds. You can put like...
the implementation is not going to be just immediate. Well, it has to be approved.
Yes, so it will take a while. Yes. So you can start to do rehearsals. To
learn. I don't think I will ever understand how they calculate their odds.
When you get to, in every sector, there's how you understand it. So when you get in there, you understand it definitely. So let me read some of the bits. This one says that, wait, what if they actually deducted us, but it never got to government? NDC must investigate all these. So
I can confidently say that the finance minister, during his interaction with the youth on X, indicated taxes that were collected, he didn't say it on X, the percentage that we lose, that it not all go into the consolidated fund. But the monies that we've been collecting, the levies that we've been collecting, all of them go into the consolidated fund. So we're going to do an investigation to see where
the money is going.
Exactly. And yesterday he also made some statements on the floor of Parliament whilst he was presenting the budget. I think we'll get that detail and then clarify how we've been losing monies.
If the betting tax wasn't collected, then the sitting government should launch an investigation into where the money was going for accountability. Saying that's El Padrino writing that on X. Also, moving on to the next one. So definitely a lot of people say that they don't understand what's going on. So there should be some sort of investigation. You don't understand English grammar. The finance minister said it will be abolished. And not it is abolished. It can take 4 years for it to be abolished. So you can be happy about it. But as it is, it will. This user on X says that it could take a long while. Royal Jimmy says that in 2024, Baumia at UPSA, right in front of Amin Anta, promised to abolish betting tax. So that's the former finance minister. Just this afternoon, in the month of Ramadan, Amin Anta said they never implemented a betting tax. So this is from last night. And people are raising questions that even during the campaign period, one of the promises was that betting tax will be removed. So if it wasn't implemented, so what was going to be removed?
Yes.
And those are some of the things people are talking about.
At this point, I honestly think that both parties have explanations to do to the country. Because during the campaign, the NPP was doing the same campaign.
Yes.
We remove betting tax. NDC was doing the same, remove betting tax. Now that the finance minister has come out to indicate that the party is taking or scrapping betting tax, they probably have to do a further explanation, because the opposition or the minority is now coming with a counter argument that we never implemented the betting tax. And with further explanation, they are saying they are referring to the lottery tax. Lottery bet was never implemented. So what exactly are both talking about? Both of them will just have to explain to us here.
That is it. So I said that this is so disrespectful to the integrity of Ghanaians. NPP government introduced a 10% tax on betting, implemented it, and now they are saying they never collected it. So that is it. But also we need to understand that when you stake and you win, it is once you are withdrawing the money from your bet account
that you pay.
Yes, that you pay the 10%.
Yeah, that's why it's withholding.
Yes, so that is where you pay the 10% on there. So it says that who's deducting bet tax? Who is benefiting from the betting tax? Investigation must be launched to unravel beneficiaries. So, Annie, these are some of the comments on social media. Some of the receipts that people have, definitely posted on X yesterday after the finance minister's budget presentation in Parliament. The big one, betting tax will be abolished. We don't know when, but as it is, boys are happy.
It's interesting how betting has taken a center stage on this budget. And you would see that the youth that are betting is quite a large number. And they influenced the voting pattern a lot. If you remember, during the campaign season, we went on the street. Most of them were just voting because of betting.
Because of that.
Nothing else. Nothing else. And it's interesting how he has taken center stage, even though there's 24-hour economy, which is supposedly the biggest policy to be implemented by this government. Desi, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. We'll cross over to the August House. My colleague Jeffrey has been speaking with the leadership of the House after the budget presentation. Let's listen to who he's been speaking to and what they've been talking about.
Specifically, the taxes that were collected were introduced by the previous administration. The current government yesterday during the budget statement have actually indicated that they will be scrapping some of these taxes. One of the key among them is the betting tax. But yesterday, just after the budget presentation, the former finance minister, Dr. Nanton, came out in a press conference indicating that the betting tax was never collected, even though it was part of their policy. They have never collected a dime from this tax. So we are here to speak to the deputy ranking for the finance budget committee in the 8th Parliament. He's also the member of Parliament for Time constituency, Honorable Suleiman Adama, to seek some clarification on this conflict of interest that has been created by the finance minister and the former finance minister. So, Honorable Suleiman, thank you so much. You are live on Good Afternoon Ghana on Metro TV. So, before we go into the specifics, how would you describe the budget statement put across yesterday by the finance minister, Dr. Kassia Latu-Forsen?
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me. I think the presentation yesterday was novel. It was unique, it was different. For the first time, the minister did not go into the sectorial issues. He left the sectorial issues to the various sector ministers to come to Parliament to brief us. What he sought to do was to lay bare the challenges that is bedeviling this economy. The challenges with debt, the challenges with the over expenditures that we did, the monies that we used that we didn't have, from SOEs throughout to the ministries, departments, and agencies. And then he professed solutions. We tried to find solutions to those challenges. First of all, he tried to rationalize the taxation that we have in the country, take away some taxes, and then bring in new ones by targeting the areas in the economy that we can improve. We can improve the tax collection. Then he brought out how we will spend the taxes vis-a-vis the promises that the president had made. Even though I will admit that it's the beginning, but it's good to start. So I believe that the presentation has given hope to a lot of people in diverse and various sectors of the economy. It was a nice presentation yesterday, and the novelty is that within 1 hour, 15 minutes or 20 minutes, it was done. Now we are waiting for the sector ministers to bring a detailed outlook of their various sectors and ministries.
One of the things many Ghanaians were also looking up to yesterday has to do with the fact that the 24-hour economy policy, many were expecting the finance minister to elaborate more on that, but what the only thing he could say was that that particular policy will be brought to Parliament for process to go through the various processes before its implementation. Was it okay the way the minister presented it briefly?
It was. I believe that there's a lot of apprehension because of the inherent challenges that we are facing in the economy. That when you want to bring a major policy like the 24-hour economy, it doesn't just take a day. I believe that enough consultation should be done so that we can bring a policy document to Parliament. Let me remind you that in 2017, I don't like equalization, but I think it was the right thing. In 2017, the major flagship program of the New Patriotic Party.
Apologies to cut in because we have to cross over to the presidency as the president is swearing in deputy ministers who have been appointed by His Excellency the President Mahama, so that we have a feel of how the swearing is going to go. Subsequently, we'll bring you the interview that Jeffrey Atipo is also having exclusively with leaders in the House. We'll be back shortly.
Honorable Alassane Saibu Suhini, Member of Parliament, Deputy Minister Designate, Ministry of Roads and Highways. Honorable Rita Na Adole Soa, MP, Deputy Minister Designate, Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Honorable Gisela Akushika Tete Agbotui, MP, Deputy Minister Designate, Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources. Last but not the least, Honorable Mr. Ernest Broja Gemfi, Deputy Minister Designate, Ministry of Defense. May I now invite the President to administer the oath. The President administers 3 oaths in this format: the oath of office, oath of allegiance, and oath of secrecy. Mr. President, you may now administer the oath, please. Shall you please rise on your feet?
Yeah, you can either affirm or, if you want, use the Holy Bible or the Holy Quran, whichever is your choice. We'll start with the oath of allegiance. I hope you all have the oath of allegiance. The oath of allegiance. You got it? Okay, when I say I, you mention your name and then you say after me. I do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So help me God. The next oath will be the official oath. And it follows the same pattern. You say after me. I do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Ghana in the office of Deputy Minister, and then you say Minister, and that I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana as by law established. So help me God. We take the next oath, and that's the oath of secrecy. And again, you mention your name, and when we get to Minister or Deputy Minister, Lydia, you say Minister of State, and then you say Deputy Minister. I, holding the office of, to the Republic of Ghana, do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my official duties, except as may be required for the discharge of my official duties, or as may be specially permitted by law. So help me God. Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you very much. Yes, a round of applause, please. You may be seated. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now we've got into the aspect of presentation of instruments of appointment to the minister and deputy ministers by the president. So kindly, when I mention your name, you go to Mr. President and that you take. The first on the list is Honorable Lydia Lamisi Akamvariba, MP, Minister of State Designate, Public Sector Reforms. In the interest of time, Madam Honorable, please, can you stay there so that we invite your family to join? The family of Honorable Minister. Just a photograph, please, because of time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. The next is Honorable Thomas Nyakon Ampim, MP, Deputy Minister for Ministry of Finance. Deputy Minister, Ministry of Finance. Please, the family should get ready, please. The family of Honorable Nyakon Ampim, kindly join. Thank you. You may please be seated. Next is Honorable Ebenezer Oklite Telabi, MP, Deputy Minister Designate, Ministry of Interior. The family of Honorable Telabi should kindly join for the family photograph. Thank you. Next, we have Honorable Samson Ahi, MP, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. The family of Honorable Samson Ahi, please get ready. Thank you. Next, Honorable Clement Abbas Apak, MP, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Education. The family of Honorable Apak should get ready, please. Thank you. Next is Honorable Richard John Mensah, MP, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. The family of Honorable John Mensah, thank you very much. Next is Honorable John Kofi Seto Dumelo, MP, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The family of Honorable Dumelo, please get ready to join the family. Thank you. Next on our list, we have Honorable Dr. Justice Shremsai, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Justice and Attorney General. The family of Honorable Shremsai, please join. Please make way for the family to join, please. Thank you. We now move to Honorable Yusuf Suleimana, MP, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. The family of Honorable Sulemana should kindly join him. Silence, please. Photographers, are you ready? Please, let's go. Thank you very much. Shall we please take our seats? Next is Honorable Yusuf Isaka Jaja, MP, Deputy Minister Designate, Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Please, let's take our seats. The family of Honorable Jaja, please join. Thank you. Please resume your seats. Please resume your seats, please. Please resume your seats. Thank you. Next is Honorable Alassane Saibu Suhini, MP, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Roads and Highways. The family of Honorable Suhini, please join. Please get ready for the picture, please. Thank you. Please take your seats. Please take your seats. Thank you, thank you. Please take your seats. Next is Honorable Rita Na Odole Sowa, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. The family of Honorable Na Odole Sowa, please join for the family photograph. Please get ready for the picture, please. Thank you, thank you. Please resume your seats. Please take your seats. Please take your seat. Cameraman, thank you. Next. Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources. The family may kindly join. Please stand for the photograph, please. No greetings, please. Photographer, get ready, please. Thank you very much. Last but not the least, Honorable Ernest Broja Gemfi, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Defense. Honorable Ernest Broja Gemfi, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Defense. The family, please. The family of just get ready, please. No greeting. Please take the picture. Thank you. Please resume your seats. Thank you, Mr. President and Madam Vice President. You may please take your seat. Thank you very much. A round of applause for the President and the Vice President. Mr. President will now sign the oath book. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I now have the singular honor to invite His Excellency the President to make a few remarks. Shall we please, with a round of applause, welcome Mr. President.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, the Honorable Chief of Staff, senior officials of the Presidency, Honorable Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, newly sworn-in Minister and Deputy Ministers, distinguished invited guests, friends and family of the appointed Minister and Deputy Ministers, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. From the outset of this administration, I gave a solemn assurance to the people of Ghana that I will fulfill my promise to create a lean, efficient, cost-effective, and performance-driven government. I committed to reducing the size of government from the largest ever in the history of our country to the smallest ever, while guaranteeing that every ministry or agency critical to national progress receives the necessary support to be able to fulfill its objectives. With this goal in mind, I have carefully exercised discretion in appointing deputy ministers only for ministries with comparatively heavier workloads. These include finance, agriculture, energy, roads, works and housing, tourism, interior, trade and agribusiness, education, justice, lands and natural resources, and local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs, and defense, all of which play critical roles in the growth, infrastructure development, and job creation in this country. The highly demanding responsibilities in these ministries require additional support to ensure swift and effective implementation of the programs and policies that we have set ourselves. Ministries that can function effectively without deputy ministers have not been assigned any deputy minister, reaffirming our commitment to a lean and efficient government. The swearing in of this batch of 13 deputy ministers and 1 minister of state brings us closer to achieving the full complement of ministers. This week, I'll submit a final list of 4 deputy ministers to achieve the full complement of 60 ministers that we promised. We've also achieved the earliest approval of ministers by Parliament under the Fourth Republic, enabling them to get to work to roll out our commitment to the people of Ghana. And for this, I wish to thank Mr. Speaker and the honorable members of Parliament. The same commitment to composing a lean government has found expression in the appointments made at the presidency so far. So far, I've appointed 27 presidential staffers to various roles and 3 persons as directors of important governmental initiatives, bringing the total number of political appointees so far to 30. This list of 30 is pending approval from the Council of State. At the last count, there were 336 political appointees at the presidency under the previous government. While we're in the process of recruiting supporting staff to enable the full functioning of our presidency, the numbers will come nowhere near the army of people that were hired under the previous government. Our commitment to a lean government is not merely about reducing the number of ministerial appointees or reducing the numbers at the presidency. It is grounded in our firm belief that government must exercise fiscal discipline by ensuring that public resources are used efficiently and responsibly. This commitment stems from a deep recognition that there must be a fair balance between government expenditure and the responsibility of citizens to fund national development and state administration through payment of their taxes. Public funds must go primarily into investments that benefit the Ghanaian people directly, and those who administer those funds and use it in pursuit of that objective must not be the largest beneficiary of same. The full extent of our commitment to fulfilling our promises to the people have not only manifested in the way that we have curated the leanest government under the Fourth Republic, but we've also demonstrated same in the policies that we are pursuing. Only yesterday, the first budget statement and economic policy of this government was presented on my behalf by the Minister of Finance to Parliament. The budget has outlined specific interventions across all sectors, as contained in our 2024 manifesto, aimed at revitalizing the economy and reducing hardship. These policies are also aimed at ensuring improvement in education, healthcare, roads, energy, agriculture, trade and agribusiness, and other areas, all with the overarching objective of creating jobs for our people. The budget also provided specific allocated funds for all the commitments we made in the 120-day social contract with the people of Ghana. We found resources for the major infrastructure projects under our Big Push agenda, as we have also for the no academic fees policy, for the National Apprenticeship Program, for the Jumara Program, seed money for the Women's Development Bank, and the 1 million coders program, among many others. These programs, which have been carefully thought through, will guarantee jobs for our young people and provide a spark for economic recovery. We've also not left out the vulnerable in due to their inability to afford sanitary towels. We made over 290 million Ghana cedis available for the distribution, 290 million Ghana cedis available for the distribution of sanitary towels to all our schoolgirls. Similar attention has been given to persons with disability whose academic fees at the tertiary level have been completely absorbed. We've also proven through the budget statement that review does not mean cancel. Once and for all, for those who don't understand English, review does not mean to cancel. We have finally found a remedy for the long-lasting problem of the lack of dedicated funds for free SHS. By uncapping the GET fund, we have freed resources to underwrite the single largest allocation to the free SHS program, and that is to wait 3.5 billion Ghana cedis since the program started in 2017. We've also thrown a lifeline to sufferers of chronic diseases whose treatment often come at prohibitive cost by dedicating a portion of the uncapped amount from the National Health Insurance Levy to the Ghana Health Trust Fund, otherwise called Mahama Cares Program, designed to give respite to those who are unfortunately afflicted by these chronic diseases. A portion of those uncapped funds will also be dedicated to our free primary health care program. The presentation of the budget and the proposals contained in them now offers unique incentives for all ministers and deputy ministers to operate at full throttle to achieve the exact objectives for which they have been nominated. For Lydia Lamisi Akamvariba, you work under the Special Advisor on Governmental Affairs to achieve speedy and optimal reform in our public services. And from each of you who have been appointed as deputy ministers, much is expected from you. While your role as deputy ministers require professional subordination in supporting your substantive ministers, I shall hold you to the same standards of accountability, diligence, hard work, and sacrifice for Ghana's collective success. In view of this, the same cautions I gave to ministers against arrogance, against opulence, and neglect of duty apply to you as well. You must also promptly fulfill your assets declaration requirements, and submit same to the Auditor General. You must also ensure that any travel outside Ghana passes the essential travel test and receives approval from the Office of the Chief of Staff. There are two clocks we hear. For those of us elected by the good people of Ghana to lead them, the clock we hear is the ticking of the fast clock of the 4-year time frame given to us by the people of Ghana. The officers you'll be working with in the public services have security of tenure, and they hear a more relaxed clock, and that clock takes towards their retirement age of 60 years. They may therefore not be in as much a hurry as you. You must therefore work to encourage and incentivize them to work at the pace of your 4-year mandate that the people of Ghana have given to you. If you're able to do this, to let them see the urgency and the hurry in which this government is, we shall achieve success. Let me also remind that the requirement to declare assets also includes all those who have been appointed as CEOs and deputy CEOs in government departments and agencies. Some of those people think they are not included. The amended law included all of them. So those who are rushing for position, you are covered by the assets declaration rule. And so they should declare their assets as quickly as possible. I've asked the Chief of Staff to write to all such persons to declare their assets promptly. Future for posterity. And you must never sacrifice a secure future for the pleasures of this fleeting moment. The task of resetting and building the Ghana we want is enormous. However, experience has shown that the enormity of the challenge of governance does not demand an elephant-sized government, but rather it demands effective leadership. And I count on you to work together with us to provide that elective leadership for the people of Ghana. As long as I'm president, my policy will remain clear: a lean, efficient, and results-driven government, of which you have just become a part. And so I thank you, I wish you good luck, and thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. President. Another round of applause for His Excellency the President, giving us a clear guidelines for the newly appointed minister and deputy ministers. Mr. President, with your indulgence, may I now invite Honorable Lydia Lamisi Akamvariba, MP, Minister of State, Public Sector Reform, to make a brief remark on behalf of the newly appointed deputy ministers. A round of applause, please.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Your Excellency, Mr. President, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, I will plead on behalf of myself and the deputy ministers to stand on the existing protocols to give you very big thanks for the honor given us. Mr. President, if I'm given the opportunity to stand on the existing protocol, I want to use this opportunity to thank you very much for recognizing us. We know that you have a very big challenge of appointing ministers and deputy ministers. People are still knocking at your doors. I need appointment. I've not been given a job. But you have given us that honor to be part and parcel of your government. We therefore want to say thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you very much, our mother, who have turned and looked at some of us. I can just say simply in Kusal, Mr. President, the post of Baraka, Pusia, Nefi Tomsuma, Nefi Yam. I can also say that in Hausa. Mr. President, Mungode kore kanda katuna muna kaba muna wanga positions. I can also say that in Ghana. Mr. President, you are don agbo. Ayake okaiwo wala ke nchumwe fa shi okaiwo uru adon imbuli tanye fijiam fakatuko fibitayam asabi into boro atu patrim ngatete tanye fijiam. To it, I just want to say thank you on my own behalf and the behalf of the deputy ministers that you have sworn in today. And we are committed to help you to see that vision, that commitment of resetting this country back to where it's supposed to be after the cankerworm has eaten it. Mr. President, I want to make a solemn promise that we will never disappoint you. We'll do our bit. We'll do our best. We'll try as much as possible to do whatever advice you have given us. We are so grateful. Today is International Women's Day in Parliament. I'm supposed to be in that cloth, but you know, I'm a Northerner, and I also have to showcase that one. So I have changed. I want to stand on behalf of our mother, the Vice President, to say ayuko to all the women of this country who have made our children proud. We have made our husbands proud. And we pray with the commitment the President has made, we are going to have a better future for our families. Mr. President, we thank you for the Women Bank. Again, I want to say a very big thank you to the people of Timpani for making it possible. I cannot finish without mentioning my chairman. In my tears, when it was hard for me and I couldn't see any other person, he said, Mama, you have to clean those tears and let us go. Chairman, I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for making it possible and making the President to see that your mother, even in her tears, she managed to get to where she is today. Thank you very much. Thank you, every family that is here. Thank you, the journalists. Thank you, the media. Thank you, everybody, for coming and gracing this occasion. Mr. President, words cannot say much more than this. We can only see that in our work and in our works. Thank you very much. We are grateful.
Thank you very much. That was very brief and concise, straight to the point. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Yes. Gradually, we are coming to the end of this very important assignment. May I now invite all the deputy ministers and the Minister of State to have a group photograph with His Excellency the President and Vice President. Please. Kindly hold your instrument of office, yes. Thank you very much. Please, just stay there, please. Just a second. The senior government officials, chief of staff, the first row, please. You may kindly join them. Chief of staff, secretary to the president, Minister for Justice, presidential advisor, kindly join them, please. Yes, presidential advisor on security. Yes. Please make sure you smile. It's going to appear in the front page of the daily graphic. Thank you very much. Kindly take your seats. Thank you very much, Mr. President. All too soon, this all-important program is coming to an end. So may I now invite you to be upstanding so that we take the national anthem, please. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of the program. Please stay where you are. Let's allow His Excellency the President and Vice President to leave first. Thank you. And good luck to the newly appointed Minister and Deputy Ministers. Thank you.
All right, and so we're saying that we had to wrap up at 2, but due to this swearing in of the Deputy Ministers by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we had to extend the time for Good Afternoon Ghana. So this is where we'll wrap up. The Deputy Ministers can now start their jobs and their work. We're seeing more women, in the appointments here. We'll still be calculating and see how many women will get the opportunity to work with His Excellency, apart from the Vice President who has taken the lead to lead women in becoming Vice President of this country. Well, we'll wrap up here. Thank you for watching. We're back with Good Afternoon Ghana tomorrow. Kwesi will come through and maybe give us some more breakdown of the budget that's just been presented. Thanks for watching.
Metro TV presents a new dating reality show.
Tell me, what's the favorite part of my body, and can you describe it with a word?
Table of Love.
Do you have what it takes to make it to the table of love?
My first heartbreak. Let me tell you. So I went somewhere to sit, and I met goats chewing grass. I sat right in front of the goat and I asked it, have you ever felt heartbroken before?
Touching, romancing, you take me there, I take you there.
If you expect me to be an angel in your life, you must first create heaven for me. Angels don't live in hell.
Many girls will say touching when you kiss me on the forehead, please. For me, when money touches my palm, I become sober.
Watch out for Cook Africa Season 2 coming to the Metro TV with Ahiniwa. This time around, we are coming with some surprises, prizes, and of course, it's Ghana Month. So watch out for some local delicacies on Cook Africa with your favorite Ahiniwa.
Hi viewers, how well are you informed about the general knowledge of the world, current affairs, history, English, sports and more? Introducing the Metro Quiz Show. Who said it always seems impossible until it is done? George. Martin Luther King Jr. Forget the money. Consulted by Nelson Mandela. William, 3 points for you and another 30 Ghana cedis. Currently, Africa's highest paid footballer. William. Mohamed Salah. Forget the money. Alright? Forget the money. Former Man City player, Riyad Mahrez. More money for your wallet. Over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Metro Quiz Show.
This hour, the U.S. has resumed aid and intelligence sharing to Ukraine after Kyiv backed Washington's plan for a 30-day ceasefire. President Trump says the next step is securing support from Russian President Vladimir Putin for a truce. Up next, Made in Germany looks at mobility and how the unemployed in Istanbul are eligible for free local rides. And don't forget, you can get all the latest news and information anytime you want on our website. That's dw.com. I'm Terry Martin. Me and all of us here. Thanks for watching.
Traveling option with Wi-Fi access included? Surely you've already traveled with Flixbus. Germany's largest bus company is now operating in 44 countries across 4 continents. What's the business model and success story of the company with a grass green colored logo? Eco India. The sea is swallowing up the beaches. Erosion is increasingly affecting the east coast near Pondicherry.
The construction of that harbour interfered with the natural movement of, sand, the movement of water.
Now the hope lies on coastal protection projects to restore the sand.
If you like history, but with a side of culture, travel, and controversy, this one's for you. I'm Rachel Stewart, and I'm hosting a podcast that will put the wow factor back into your everyday life. Every day, we encounter so many things that we don't even notice anymore. They just kind of fade into the background. But if you stop and shine a spotlight on them, what you see might just surprise you. We're going to dig up the dirt on the everyday things around us. Where did they come from? How and why did they evolve over time? And Why should we care? Just search for Don't Drink the Milk wherever you listen to podcasts.
Bienvenue